Thanks for checking out Mornings with Lone Star podcast on irlonestar.com. Don't forget, Mornings with Lone Star is live every weekday on irlonestar.com from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., covering all things Texas country music and Montgomery County news, with weather and traffic at the top and bottom of every hour. You can call in at any time with a song request at 936-647-3776 or Facebook message us on Facebook or tweet us on Twitter. Mornings with Lone Star would like to say a special thank you to the sponsors of Mornings with Lone Star, our neighbors at Conroe Coffee in downtown Conroe, catering by All-Star, Michal B. Young, financial representative with Northwestern Mutual in the Woodlands, and the Texas Renaissance Festival in Magnolia, Texas. Sunny, yeah. Sun shines on a dreamer with Wade Bowen right there. Mornings with Lone Star. Meet the candidates here with Nathan Arizotti of Montgomery County Lifestyle. Our special guest today is Billy Ballard, and that is his name. Trust me. He has a website. He's running for Constable, Precinct number 1 here in Montgomery County. Welcome, Billy. Welcome, Nathan. How's everyone doing this morning?
I'm doing great. Billy, how are you?
Oh, good morning. I'm doing well.
This fog is something else, isn't it?
I think, you know what? Can you go out there and just arrest it and send it away and send it somewhere?
I like it. It's creepy. Like exiting 105, going over that bridge, you have no idea what's at the bottom of it. It's like a scary movie starting. It's great.
You should have saw it at Lake Conroe. Lake Conroe was covered in it.
That's great. But yeah, we have Billy Ballard in the studio, Nathan Arizotti with Montgomery County Lifestyle. We're taking questions right now. If you have a question for Billy on Facebook, just look us up, Lone Star Internet Radio or Montgomery County Lifestyle. Website for Billy Ballard right now is billyballard.com. That's Billy, B-I-L-L-O.org. Thank you. I looked at it and I said .com. I'm an idiot. .org.
You're not an idiot.
I'm an idiot.
You're just
so
billyballard.org.
billyballard.org. I'm repeat it 3 times.
Our brain turns into a robot and we just keep going.
Wow, did you see? He was plugging you. Billyballard.org. Billyballard.org.
You gotta say it 3 times at least, right? That's what I was told.
It flows.
So.
Just don't say Candyman 3 times.
And he's also on Facebook and our Beetlejuice, right?
Our Beetlejuice 3 times, yes.
Yeah, Facebook, it's Ballard from Moco.
Ballard from Mocha right there. And do you use Facebook a lot? As in, like, say I had a question for you and I sent you something like,
yes.
Oh, hey,
I think if you look at the top corner, it says responds within 2 minutes.
Oh, you're proud of that. Look at that.
Every day Facebook evolves.
It does.
I actually had to
You're
find out
accountable now.
what does it mean when it says talking about. And so many people are talking about this page. What does that mean?
That means people are typing it in.
That means that somebody came to your Facebook page, left it, and actually came back again. And that's what it means when it means talking about.
Oh, my gosh.
Uh-oh.
He's got the famous Facebook green, fast little message. He's very responsive. That is very, very hard to get.
I'm not. I'm only 15 minutes.
Oh, man.
I'm under an hour,
you're
though.
Smoking. You got 1,617 people who like your page.
If you can.
Nice job.
That's one thing I have to ask. It's really great getting the candidates in here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9 a.m. for me, the candidates. But you being a constable running for Constable Precinct number 1, is this your first time?
To run for office?
To run for any type of...
Yes.
Okay.
It's a whole different world.
So that's what I'm going to lead my question into is, when in today's standard, and I was talking to Nathan about this the other day, is, 30 years ago, running for something was completely different.
Yes, it was.
And those practices are still used today, like the signs. The signs are abundant. And when you're going into a political run today, what do you see being stronger than the signs? What do you like to see getting the
signs still have
best
their value.
impact? The best impact.
Well, the signs still have their value, and they're expensive too. But they have their value just because. But our world is evolving when I graduated college, there was no internet, and that's hard to fathom a time with no internet. But now you've got a society who is connected online
all the time.
Every minute of the day.
2-minute response time.
Yes. It pops up on my cell phone and boom, I'll answer you. It was like last night, several people I talked to, I gave them my card and they go, is that your cell phone number? I said, yes, call me. If you have a question, call me.
Well, that's one thing, too. A lot of people don't realize what the constables do. And we kind of covered, the day-to-day, what you guys are doing. And what are you currently doing right now?
Currently, I'm an investigator with the sheriff's office.
With the sheriff's office. Then you go, hey, I want to work for the constable's office.
Well, I started, this is a 25-year career.
Okay. So you've been a police officer, graduated from the police academy for 25 years.
25 years.
Okay.
And that first 6 years, I worked at the constable's office. It was precinct 2.
Here?
Yes. In fact,
down the street?
A block and a half from here. Before that, on the other side of the railroad tracks, there was an old Cadillac dealership. That was our office then. And then for a little time, we had to stay in the old hospital while that was being built just south of you a block.
Yeah.
And then I was with the group that moved in there. I was a paid officer in there.
I'm thinking about just moving the station down there.
It's a great building.
It looks like a nice building. You know?
It is a nice building. 2-story, the upstairs.
I got officers all around me. I mean, I'm okay. I can say whatever I want on the airwaves, and no one can get mad at me.
Secure entry, yeah. But that's where I worked. I worked right here in town for the constable's office, serving civil papers. In fact, when I got hired, it was like a new position. So I was the first one that was working evenings. They had me working 2 to 10. I worked on Saturdays. And Precinct 2 had never had that before. They just didn't have the manpower. It was a 5-man department then. And so I was serving papers in the evenings. And with that, you're in a marked car. You're a peace officer just like everybody else. And so, you know, as you're driving along, serving papers, serving warrants, you drive upon things. And you're out there also in the community with the sheriff's office, with the DPS. You're another hand in that group.
Now, with the constable's office, I'm trying to imagine the infrastructure between the CPD, the different precincts, and then the sheriff's office. When it comes down to communication, really, is it really as easy as saying, "All right, car 92," or do I have to call the constable's office and then they give me?
Well, the constable's office is usually dispatched to the sheriff's office.
Okay, so they're on the same network,
on the same radio channel, same radio system. Back then, you know, when I started, it was VHF. And you had to have the channels programmed into your radio. And we were all on a sort of a same system. Now, I mean, back in, I'm going to bet you it was 97, 98, we went to 800 megahertz. And it became the audio quality was better. We no longer had to play Statue of Liberty and hold our radios over our heads when they were in the middle of nowhere. And so we moved to 800. Well, in the past few years, the sheriff's department, the county agencies have moved off into a Motorola system, and Conroe Police is on the older Ericsson system that we initially had. But there's ways they patch them together.
I was just wondering because
we don't dispatch off the same thing because they have so much going on here with so many officers.
Yeah.
We cover even wider areas with multiple agencies. So just the radio traffic, you can't do it. But there are ways that they can communicate together.
Yeah, I'm just wondering because one thing I'm learning more and more about what the constable office does. And it seems more of y'all aren't more reaction, y'all are more of instructed. And then when I'm saying you respond to things, like because you kind of someone comes to you and says, "Can you go do this? Can you go do this?" And then you go do it. But the Conroe PD gets like a phone call, like someone's having right now a bank robbery.
Well, in the county, everybody is on that radio system, and so if a 911 call comes in, everybody's going to hear it.
Oh, see that's good. Thank you for that's a personal question. I always wonder that because I was like, man, there's so many departments here.
Those instances happened where the constable's officer was the closest one there. It happens all the time. So
that's interesting.
We're all listening to the same thing.
Did you hear that, folks? Radio. They're all listening to you. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. But that's really interesting because I always wondered that because you're learning more about. There's a purpose to each department.
Well, the constable's office is main staffed because they're also in conjunction with your justice of peace precincts. Mm-hmm. So their main duty is serving the civil process, the warrants that come out of those JP courts. And the fact that they're out there doing those and they're a law enforcement agency, they're in the community and they're part of that community. So they're there available at the same as the sheriff's department. You know, the sheriff's department may be running a burglary call, they may be running an eviction paper that they're going to serve, and they're in the same area. Mm-hmm. So it's essentially they have different primary duties, but they're all peace officers.
Let's see that I'm learning something every day. That's one thing I love about this, Nathan, is we're learning more about what the county, how it runs, because I think the more I know, the smarter I am.
Well, if you don't learn something every day, you're wasted a day.
That's okay.
Well, that's one of the reasons.
Then today is over. Today is over, folks. We're shutting down. All right, folks, we're going to get back to musical break right now, but we're hanging out with Billy Ballard, who's running for Constable Precinct number 1. Don't forget to register to vote or check your registry status. mctx.org/election has the online information about that, how to check all that kind of stuff. Billy,
right, and they have the voter registration cards there at the office if you go by there, but you have till February 1st.
There you go. February 1st, folks.
If you want to get in there and vote in that March primary and that plethora of presidential candidates we have going, get in early. Get in as quick as you can.
There you go, folks. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to ask Billy about why he chose to switch not teams but positions, because you're currently with the sheriff's office.
Right.
You're going to constable. And I want to learn a little bit more about him, why that happened, why that decision was made. So if you stick around here on Mornings with Lone Star, hanging out with Nathan Arizotti with Montgomery County Lifestyle here on Mornings with Lone Star, we'll be right back.
Imagine a place where you can sip on Italian coffee and have a sandwich, followed by a fabulous, delectable pastry. We invite you to stop by Conroe Coffee to experience old world charm. Conroe Coffee is located next to the historic Creighton Theater in downtown Conroe. We are open 7 days a week. Please check our website for business hours at conroecoffee.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Have a caffeinated day.
All right, I like that song. That's Shotgun Rider, Dance or Drink. Before that was the Damn Quails with Just a Little While. You're listening to Mornings with Lone Star here at irlonestar.com. This is our Meet the Candidate segment every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, leading up to early voting. We're inviting candidates who are running for different positions in Montgomery County and trying to get to know them a little bit more. It's not your conventional way of a forum or anything like that. It's just we're just chatting, learning more about them, and also learning more about the position they're actually running for, because a lot of people are uneducated or misinformed about what exactly a constable does, what is the judge of District 3 or 435 or whatnot, and what that means. Right. So we're gonna do our best here at our Lone Star with Mornings with Lone Star, especially with our co-host who's co-hosting the segment, Nathan Arizotti, with Montgomery County Lifestyle. I don't believe that at all, because your fingers are on that keyboard, and I don't know what you're doing over there, because you're silent this whole time.
Well, you didn't
I don't know what
talk.
I don't know what Billy did to you outside of the studio, but I don't know what you did, Billy, because he's quiet. That's the first time I ever heard Nathan be quiet before.
I couldn't get a word in edgewise. He is so. Let me tell you one thing. I figured out about a month ago when we talked about doing this. He wants to know so much about the constable. All the other races he knows quite a bit about, but he is just so intrigued. It's law enforcement. Now, I thought maybe it was an appreciation, and he does appreciate law enforcement. Let's get that straight. Don't pull.
Well, I have several family members who are.
But I think he's fearful of something. I think he's hiding something, Billy. What do you think?
He doesn't appear to be the conspiracy theorist.
You know what I want to know?
What do you want to know?
I want to know why the heck this man is qualified. What are his qualifications to jump in there and take it? There's a lot of people in that race.
Well, sounds like he's been an officer for 25 years. So, I mean, that sounds like a good way to start saying he's qualified. But you'll be able to answer that, Billy. Don't worry.
Background, huh?
Well, I think what's important, you already kind of just said in the first segment, was you graduated from the academy 25 years ago, exactly. Yes. 25, and then you were with the constable office for several years.
6 years.
6 years, and you were one of the new positions, you know, all that kind of stuff. So you saw and that was 25 years ago. Man, that's crazy. And now
you were 5 years old, weren't you?
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. And then when you left the constable's office, you went where?
I went to the sheriff's office
in
96.
And then here in Montgomery County?
Well, yes.
Okay.
I did a year in the Woodlands patrolling, and then I came up here to this area, what we call District 1, which was essentially almost it's a little bit bigger than Precinct 1, but there were 3 of us that worked nights back then.
Okay. And that's where you've been?
I worked there till 2002, and that's when I promoted to as an investigator.
Okay. And then now you woke up one day and said, man, I need to...
Yeah, I'd have to preface it and go back. You know, back in 90 to 96 when I was at the constable's office, Billy Colson was our constable. And we had a constable that you could walk in one day and you'd see the mayor of Conroe sitting in his office, and they'd be talking about something going on in Conroe. Or you'd have a POA, a homeowners association, come in and go, hey, we're having a problem with this. Is there anything you can do to help us? And it was one of those things, you saw a constable that was directly hand-in-hand working with his community. And if he had something coming up, like a benefit, he was trying to, fix something or get something help some family out, he could call on those same people to help out with that. So it's one of those things, because you're on a precinct level, you're almost a neighborhood. You're directly involved with it. And I saw that, and I want to see that come back. I mean, my constable, his phone, when I was there, his phone number was in the phone book. And people would call, and he'd answer the phone half the time. If he was at home, he would answer the phone, and you would be talking to the constable. So that's what I would like to see come back, that direct hand-in-hand involvement with the community.
Well, also, that's one reason why, to answer Nathan's, why I'm interested in all this kind of stuff. Because to me, when I think of a constable, I don't really think of anything. Because I don't call the constable when I dial 911. In my mind, when I'm dialing 911 or when I need an officer, I don't call the constables. So that's one thing I was kind of like, okay, so what good are they to me besides doing what? I mean, I'm not saying that
Right.
you're not doing anything, but I'm saying to me, what's the purpose? Because hopefully I'm not getting evicted. Hopefully I'm not being served papers and things like that. Because every time I see a constable, I'm like, well, I hope it's not about me. But but now you're trying to make it more of like,
well, it has. I mean, we've always been that way. I mean, I remember you'd be out serving a citation maybe from a car wreck or something to somebody at a home, and half the time they were like, "What do I do?" And I basically told them, "That you have car insurance, you need to take this to them. That's why you pay for your car insurance. You let them look at it. Get somebody legal to look at this and find out what's going on for you to best to advise you." But we gave them no legal advice, but we said, you need to find somebody that can help you. Mm-hmm. And so, while you're, I was out there in that neighborhood serving that civil paper, somebody might run a stop sign in front of me, and then, I had the legal authority to write a ticket on the stop sign or investigate it further if I needed to. Mm-hmm. So it was one of those things. You were already there serving another purpose, and you're still a peace officer.
Well, I think I bring a different perspective too with the police officers, since we have a business in downtown, and we've run into some interesting folks in downtown Conroe, and I have a number always right here next to the computer. It's the non-emergency number, but it's also a line that I can lay off something like, oh hey, by the way, something's weird's going on around here. Because I don't think a lot of people make those kind of phone calls too much.
Not anymore, no.
And that's one thing I'm trying to understand your goal, trying to accomplish more of not a neighborhood feel, but more of your
strengthening our community.
Strengthening your community. And I'm like, man, how would you even go about that? Because a lot of people, and even today's national media, it's horrible. Like, to be a police officer in today's media, there's like 80% of it's negative, and I'm like, there's nothing.
And if you notice, that 80% is sometimes just the reactionary, went out over social media, and people report it as fact.
And but thank God here, I got to tell you though, Texas, especially Montgomery County, is pretty high. The law enforcement love is pretty high. We see the national media talking smack. We see the left-wing liberal media talking crap, in my opinion. But we don't see that much negative press about the police here. What do you think, Billy?
Well, when you look at those communities, the communities that had your riots and such as that was a community that there's a breakdown. There's no communication between those two. It's us versus them. It's an adversarial thing going on. And it's those same people that a car is getting broken into in the street, and they just look, or they walk off. If your neighbor was getting beat up by his other neighbor, they wouldn't call anybody. They pull out their cell phone and record it and post it to social media.
Exactly.
They would never call for help. One of the things I learned, when I graduated, I went to Sam Houston State. The last year they offered a degree called Law Enforcement Police Science. And one of the foundations for law enforcement, it was established back when Robert Peel set up the Metropolitan Police Department in London. And he said, police are part of the community, and community are part of the police. You have to have that relationship. It just happens. Police, they're paid to enforce the duties that all of us are incumbent with. So if Nathan was getting assaulted by his neighbor, it's just as much your responsibility to help him as it is mine. It's just happened. I'm paid to do that. That's my job. But everybody in the community has that same responsibility. And what you have is you have a breakdown to where they're not worried about it anymore. They don't care.
I like that.
I do too, in a way. I think what's really interesting about the way the police and the whole justice system works is like the long term of cases, rules, and things like that, because it's always changing. The law is living, which is great. Right. And especially when I'm learning more about what the constable office does, it's something that's especially local. Because to me, and that's one thing people need to know, is you can call these folks for help. Right. And it's not necessarily always bad. And especially they help you. You guys are willing to change tires. I bet some people. You don't have to, but I mean, I've seen officers help people change tires and things like that. And
when I was in patrol at night working, I had a hydraulic jack. I had my gloves and my stuff ready to change a tire. A couple of us had even gone and got the rechargeable impacts just to make it a little bit quicker. I mean, we're not ashamed to jump out and change somebody's tire, especially when you have the tools to do it real quick and get it done. If my wife had been broke down, I would have appreciated anybody helping her out.
And so that's one thing I want to kind of segue into is your decision to run for precinct number 1, and why that came about, and what you say you have a goal of making it more of a neighborhood.
Well, more more involved with that entire community. It's just not a neighborhood.
Because the precinct, what is Precinct 1?
Precinct 1 is the north side of the county. If you're in Conroe, it's from the north loop, north to the Walker County line.
Okay.
It goes east through the fairgrounds and out Airport Road into that area. It goes 105 west, and as you drive out 105 west, the left side is Precinct 2, the right-hand side is Precinct 1.
So like April Sounds and all that
right,
kind
April
of stuff?
Sound, Walden, Cape Conroe, goes all the way into Montgomery, all the way to Dobbin.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's a wide open area of rural
And the lake.
and neighborhoods, even that area that looks like 1960 now of 105 West. The businesses on Lake Conroe, it is the neighborhoods, the gated and the open neighborhoods all around the lake. There are voting boxes that touch every corner of Lake Conroe. It is enveloped with Precinct 1.
And so and this is something you want to be in charge of?
Yes. The constable's office in Precinct 1, not only is it just doing civil and the JP stuff, but it's charged with, through the San Jose River Authority, is patrolling Lake Conroe. So they have 6 boats and officers working Lake Conroe. They also do mental health for the entire county. So they have a staff of officers that work with Tri-County.
Oh, okay.
And help with the transportation of people to receive treatment. They assist the officers at night when there's a call that if it's a mental situation and they've been evaluated at the hospital, they'll come out and take charge of them, get the officer get back on the road. They also have the Willis ISD School District, which is growing by leaps and bounds now. So those are on the side of just being the constable's office. Plus, they have the MAP units on the north side of 45.
Yeah, Gene was talking about that. Gene DeForest talking about the MAP units. There's a lot going on in the constable's office.
Oh, yes.
And when we come back, we're going to get Nathan get some questions in because he looks like he's ready. He's ready. But we're going to take a quick music break. We're hanging out with Billy Ballard, running for Constable Precinct Number 1, billyballard.org. That's billyballard.org. For more information about Billy running for Constable Precinct Number 1, we'll be back, and we're going to listen to some music. Here's some Vince Hetfield with Great Country Wrong. You're listening to Lone Star Internet Radio, Mornings with Lone Star. This is Meet the Candidates, all the way to 10 a.m.
Behind every victory is someone who helped make it happen. Call them mentors, coaches, or even mom or dad. At Northwestern Mutual, we call them partners, the financial professionals that can help you tap into strengths you might not even know you have, and guide you where you want to be financially and personally, because no one wins alone. Start building financial security with Northwestern Mutual. Contact Michael Young today. Visit michael.b.young@nm.com. You and Northwestern Mutual, stronger together. The Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Hi, this is Catering Cody with All-Star Catering Company. We've been catering for Montgomery County since 2005. We are now offering take-home casseroles available for you to pick up Monday through Friday. To learn more, give us a call at 936-228-0440. Send an email to info@cateringbyallstar.com or check us out on Facebook at Catering by All-Star. So come on in and get your dinner tonight and feed your family the simple way with All-Star Catering.
Whoa, nice cough. Who was that?
They left the building.
I'm just kidding. You're listening to Mornings of Lone Star here at irlonestar.com, Montgomery County's community radio station. If you haven't already, you can download our app from any type of Play Store on Google Play and, of course, on your app store with Apple. And we also do have a website, irlonestar.com, which you probably already know about. We're doing Meet the Candidates every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, leading up to the early voting in February. So we're talking to Billy Ballard right now. That's a great name. And he's running for Constable Precinct Number 1, which is north of the Loop 336 all the way to Willis, correct?
All the way to the county line.
County line. See, there you go. So this is so cool. It's crazy how we draw out these maps here in Montgomery County. But we have Billy Ballard in the studio. We're talking about why he's running for Constable. He's currently with the Sheriff's Office of Montgomery County.
Right.
And he is a pretty interesting guy, and also with goals, because to me, I like the idea of being friendly with the police officers. My uncle is one of the head K-9 people in HPD, and then my brother's out in Liberty, and we have those are my two connections with police officers, and it's always nice to have a conversation with them because it kind of brings me down to earth when I speak to them, and especially the way they treat me. But yeah, so welcome back. And if you have questions for Billy, we're on Facebook on our Lone Star Internet Radio or Montgomery County Lifestyle. Nathan, I know you've been quiet. You've been doing something. I mean, you should not have your coffee this morning? Is that what's going on?
I had my cup of coffee.
Cup of coffee. Okay. But if you have any questions, you have anything you want to say to Billy, ask him?
I tell you, one of the things that I think is a big hot button with a lot of people, and that's Lake Conroe. You have a lake patrol, Precinct 1.
Right. Precinct 1 has the lake.
You read in the media, you read in the paper, you hear people talking how deadly, how dangerous, how people from Houston and other parts, come up here into our backyard. And that's fine because they spend money, restaurants, motels, and stuff like that.
Well, hopefully they'll move up here.
And hopefully they'll see how beautiful it is move. What do you think are some opportunities with the Precinct 1 office in addressing some of the issues on Lake Conroe? What are some things you want to do?
Well, like we discussed earlier, is that involvement. I want to see the Marine unit and the Constable's office itself more involved with those businesses on Lake Conroe, those homeowners associations on Lake Conroe. Once you establish that communication back and forth, I think you're going to find out things that could be done that you're not even doing, not even thought about, factors that are contributing to what's happening on our lake. But then also we have, like I said, we become the playground for Houston. It's just a strange dynamic that it's a huge recreational / fishing lake near the metropolitan center of Houston, but they travel here and enjoy the lake. But do they really know much about the lake when they get here? And it's this thing, they could show up out of the blue to do some skiing and find out there's a huge fishing tournament going on at the same time, and then you have that, and you have a huge conflict there. Even when you have the large turnout 4th of July's, people sitting on the lake watching fireworks, it's a whole different dynamic. People who've come here from Houston just to watch that. Do they know there's a speed limit at night? No, they don't, because they're not from here.
I didn't know that.
They don't participate.
Traditionally, it lowers by 5 miles an hour. Isn't that the state?
No, he's talking about on the lake.
On the lake, our lake
boats.
has a.
You're talking about the boats?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I
have no idea.
But there's no avenue for them to really find that information out in one place. And so when I started this and, started looking at the, the hazards and the conditions, I was like, we need to create something, partner up with the businesses in the area, the homeowners, your business associations. And we could create a one-stop place and almost an internet portal of that information. What's going on Lake Conroe. Get a calendar up there. We could have our safety information ported to it.
Well, that's one thing that amazes me, especially with the connection you're trying to make with especially with any government organization, with the people. Is we're in a day age where technology is so accessible, and it amazes me that a lot of people don't take advantage from a governmental position or a public servant position, like how to provide this kind of information. Like, for example, right now I'm on mctx.org, which is basically the Montgomery County website for everything that has to do with Montgomery County when it comes to public service and also the government and all that kind of stuff. And I'm at the Constable Precinct number 1, and there's no information on there. They have the buttons to, like, if I wanted to know more about the Lake Patrol Division, I click it.
It gives you something to do with your mouse.
Yeah, and there's nothing there. And I'm like, man, and it's similar to what your ideas with informing people, letting people know, especially having the correct information up. What do you think? Why do you think that is? Because even on mctx.org/election, it's just there's not a lot of information on there. Like if I go there now, I want someone to call in or let me know. I don't even have the ballot. They haven't even put the ballot up. Or
I can tell you, it's hard to get people to break with tradition, to break with their old habits, and embrace the new habit, the new norms, the new avenues of information. But what I'm proposing in this portal is that you be able to find out what's going on at Lake Conroe. You can get safety information right there. You can see the rules of Lake Conroe and checklists, what you have to have in a boat. Things like all right there at one stop. Pull it up on your smartphone and go, oh, we need another life preserver. We got too many people. You'd be able to find that information out right there before you even leave the house or before you get to the lake. Stop at Academy and get what you have to have. Those things would be right there. And I've even thought as far out as you could introduce safety videos. I mean, we've got Montgomery and Willis High Schools with video programs. They're producing their own news shows. You could bring those children in and they could produce the videos.
Oh, easy.
Construct them, and they have practical experience, and they're working with our government and learning at the same time.
Wow, that's great because it gives them, like you said, practical experience, something to put on a resume.
Unpaid internships.
It's an internship, absolutely, something to put on that resume.
It really does amaze me because the transition, and especially the communication, the most important thing is, as an officer, I imagine, going into a situation as informed as possible.
Right.
And especially with this person coming to visit the county, being as informed as possible. And it kind of amazes me that, like, this kind of stuff, because you can see the direction they're going in, but why do I have a button and nothing's there? At least say something coming soon.
Well, let me. I mean,
We're calling out the web developer, who it is. Let's see.
Let me pull you back into my background. So when I was in the patrol, you know, I promoted to detective, and so I got there, and one of the first cases I got was a forgery case, and they said, "Here, he's on video." And at that time, technologically, what we did was we'd have to put a VHS tape into a VCR, and we'd press pause until we got him on the screen, and we'd take a picture of the TV, because that's where we were technologically.
We got it done, in a sense. So.
But if you've ever taken a picture of a TV, it's a great picture, isn't it?
Yeah.
Got the lines,
especially
and
if it's a security.
Line, yeah.
Especially if it's a security.
So, the bad thing about any government agency is they tend to drag through technology. They advance slower than the general public. I mean, how many times you'll go to a government agency and they may still be using like a typewriter while the salesman's there on a laptop. So it's that comparative.
Well, I mean, I understand that, it's kind of hard to move a big beast, but to me, I'm looking like the thing, especially what you're trying to achieve with the one thing you want to do if you were elected Constable Precinct number 1, is it's there. Like
Right.
there's literally a button. That means their intention was there, but nothing's there.
Yes.
And it probably would take a week of somebody just sitting down, typing up an official thing, and maybe add a picture, and then that's it. You're good to go.
Right. Well, and my proposal is not even on the county side, partnering up with businesses to create something that's bigger than that. But
what also lets you know as a constable's office what's going on too.
Right.
Because if you don't know there's a fishing tournament, you're like, where are all these people coming from?
It is a method of communication. I mean, you'll have, a particular radio station submitting their event and going, hey, we're having this. These are our points of contact. It gives points of contact for the constable's office. Somebody we can call and go, hey, we have a problem out here with this. Or is this part of your deal? So, it gives you it is another method of communication. The apps are exploding like anything. I mean, some people, if I don't know if Nathan's ever heard of Nextdoor.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
It's a great app. I was out with some friends in our neighborhood. We found a dog lost in our neighborhood. We took a picture with it, posted it Nextdoor. Hey, we found this dog.
What's Nextdoor?
Nextdoor, the app. What it does, it verifies your address, puts you into a network with surrounding neighborhoods to yours and your neighbors. And it's almost a social media, but it's a method of communicating with your neighbors.
So I could totally go on there and be like, party at Nathan's house. Put a little thing on there.
If you are part of Nextdoor in that community,
so
they have to verify that you live there.
They verify. I mean, there is a method that they verify your actual address. So I posted a picture.
Like a water bill or something? Like how do they verify this?
They popped up and said, have you ever lived here? Just like some of those other.
I'll be like, yes, I have.
Well, hopefully it's the right one because they gave me multiple choice.
That's what I mean. I feel like you could mess with so many people with that.
But so I posted this picture of this dog, and we took it home with us, waiting for somebody to call. Our dog didn't like that dog, so we had it in the kennel, safe. And the next morning, the property owners called me and go, "Hey, do you still have this dog? We've got this little elderly lady who can't find her dog."
There it is.
And it just happens, she's not socially or on the technology end, but the property owners were.
Yep.
So it was one of those things. Bam. Of course, then you'll get the person selling their elliptical or something else. Or
I like that Waze app because it tells you where the police are.
Wow.
I like that.
Well, the Waze app is only as good as the people putting the information in there. That's the bad part.
And especially when they're doing it while they're driving. That's my favorite part. I was like, man, this app seems kind of dangerous. You got to put...
I've used that app, but it's funny. My daughter would call me from A&M and go, the traffic's not moving on Highway 6 at Welburn or something like that. And I'm pulling it up in my office going, oh, yeah, there's an accident up ahead of you. And I'd just take the screenshot and send it to her.
Yeah.
And you would see all the little icons saying, what's going on? Why are we stopped?
Found a lost dog right here in the street. No, yeah. See, that's one thing. I think it's a good thing to have that idea, especially the initiative, to add that to pretty much any type of organization that communicates with the people.
Right.
Because it's also about being effective, too. That's one of the hardest things to let people know, because you guys do so much, and it's so hard. A lot of people, like I said, people just don't get it right now, so they're never going to get it because they don't care.
Well, the only way that law enforcement can be effective is with the support of the community. And it's vice versa. I mean, you've got to have a community that wants their law enforcement, their government agencies to succeed. If they don't want them to succeed, they're not going to succeed.
Yeah, there you go. Well, we have to close this up, Nathan. It is getting to the end. So what I want to do is give Billy the floor. This is your time to say, vote for me and blah, 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 and, that good stuff. So, good.
Well, I can say I've been in law enforcement now for 25 years. I'm a Conroe High School graduate in 1987. I graduated from SAM in 1992 with a law enforcement and police science degree. It was funny. It was the last year they actually offered it. And I tell people, they say, well, what did you learn? I learned a lot about police management. It was great that my first ethics teacher in criminal justice was a nun. So you can tell my method, my outlook on ethics in law enforcement. I'm everybody affectionately calls me, I'm like a Boy Scout. And I'm not ashamed to say that 3 weekends ago we were working on my son's Eagle Scout project. So
outstanding.
So I can say, yes, I probably am a Boy Scout. I'm the one that picks up trash when I get into my car and take it home and throw it away. But that's the kind of person I am. I'm the person that reads the directions before I do it. It's one of those type of things. But in 25 years in law enforcement, I've learned that working with your community, being part of it, is what succeeds. Robert Peel, that organized it, also said, the only true effective measure of law enforcement is the absence of crime and disorder, not the publicity of what they've been doing. So, patting yourself on the back is great, but the true measure is when there's an absence of crime and disorder. So not seeing, not hearing, sometimes is actually a measure of success, but not all the time. We have to be able to talk back and forth. My plan is to move forward. People have asked me, are you going to fire people? Are you going to get rid of people? I said, listen, I wouldn't run for this job if I didn't like the people that were there. They're great people, and I want to work with them. That's one of the big things about me. I've already worked with them before. I see them every day. I've had kids go through their school districts. I know all the school district officers. They're great people, and I want them to succeed. I want to support them and make them the best they can be. What I've done is I've built a strong network of volunteers. We started this thing over a year ago. Some races didn't start as soon as we did, but we started this thing a year ago. We built up a core group of volunteers that have been wonderful. In fact, they've been trying to call me while I've been here. But I plan to move forward, a more positive, progressive department that wants to be part of that community, that's invested in it. Now, early voting starts February 16th, so we're right there, and our primaries March 1st. I'd love people to get out and support us. There's a lot. We've gotten a lot of people that call and go, man, you're saying exactly what I wanted to hear. But we need your support. We need you to come out. We're actually holding a fundraiser the 19th of this month, January 19th.
What's it called?
Chili with Billy.
I knew you'd like that.
I do like chili.
Chili with Billy. We'll be at the...
Maybe not at 9:56 a.m., but I do like chili.
We'll be at the community center in Willis, 5:30 on the January 19th. But that was a big thing. We wanted to be able to... The biggest thing about this is getting in, hearing what the public wants. The forum we had last night was great, where the public got to ask questions, and it was great to see them. But another thing, I started this off with a survey. I sent out a survey across all social media when I started this. I said, I want to hear what the public thinks the issues are. Don't let a politician tell you this is the problem. I wanted to hear from the people, and that's what I did. And I've heard that, and that's where I've built this campaign.
Well, there you go. Thank you so much, Billy, for coming into the
Thank
studio.
you, Billy. Been a good morning. Been a fun morning.
If you're just now tuning in, this is the end of our political segment of Meet the Candidates here on Mornings of the Lone Star. Everything's being podcasted, so we will release a podcast as soon as possible. So, Billy, if you want to hear yourself talk again, you can stay tuned to irlonestar.com.
As long as you don't play the part of me singing.
There you go. Nathan, it's good to see you this morning.
Good to see you, dude.
Montgomery County Lifestyle. If you want to know what's going on in this county, that is the first page you should like on Facebook, because he kind of informs everybody about everything that's going on, and he's in your face, so you're going to get to know really what's going on.
But we got a great partnership here. I love Lone Star Internet Radio. I think more people need to tune in, because that's another great way to find out what's going on in Conroe and Montgomery County.
So who do we have lined up for Monday at 9 a.m. for meet candidates?
I don't know.
Well, we just don't know anything. That's horrible.
I don't have it pulled up yet.
But that's fine. We'll post it on
Facebook. Radio, Facebook.
So don't worry, folks. And we're going to continue serving this county here, downtown Conroe. IR Lone Star. Coming up next is going to be the Cindy Cochran Show. She talks all things on her mind. So if you want to be entertained and wonder how this lady's not in an institution, stick around for the Cindy Cochran Show. She's probably outside listening to this. But we're going to take a quick music break here on IRLoneStar.com, Montgomery County's community radio station. Here's Smoke Wagon. This song is called Where Did I Go Wrong? You're listening to Lone Star Net Radio.
Thank you for checking out a podcast on Lone Star Internet Radio. Lone Star Internet Radio is Montgomery County's community radio station, broadcasting from the heart of Conroe, Texas. If you are interested in sponsoring a program for Lone Star Internet Radio, just visit us online at irlonestar.com or message us on Facebook. We are always taking song requests on Twitter, and if you are interested in getting involved with the station, by either hosting your own show or if you want to be a DJ, just contact Dick at irlonestar.com. Lone Star Internet Radio, Montgomery County's community radio station.